Well, it looks like the remnants of U.S. imperialism in Argentina, the dirty war, is back. And it's not looking good. What's up, everybody? It's Zach the Celtics Guy here, back with another video. Welcome to the Global Report with Zach the Celtics Guy. Oh yeah, what a great, fabulous story I got here for you. I'm telling you, the final voyage of Argentina's death flight. One of the Navy's infamous death flight airplanes is set to be sent back in the jurisdiction of Argentina's civilian population, basically, in so many words. Like that's really the best way I can describe it, or basically sent back to them. Every week, victims were selected for transfer. So this story right here that I've got that's coming out of Argentina right now, with regards to what the U.S. has done to Argentina over the years, it's so fucked. Like it's just it. This whole thing is just so fucked, and I'm just like I am just like at a loss for words here. According to the the from Buenos Aires Herald, the final voyage of Argentina's death flights, one of the Navy's infamous death flight airplanes. It happened on Wednesdays. Every week, victims were selected for transfer after being tortured and imprisoned for days, weeks, or months. They were rounded up, given a sedative shot, and loaded into Navy airplanes at night. From Cargo Bay, they were thrown alive into the River Plate, now known as the Death Flights. These grim voyages were the final destination of many of the people disappeared by Argentina's military dictatorship from 1976 to 1983. That is what the U.S. backed in Argentina. The U.S. backed this fascistic, right wing, terrorist government that was in Argentina. That is what the U.S. did against Argentina. And that is downright deplorable and disgusting. Now the Argentine government is bringing the plane back to Buenos Aires, where it will stand as a reminder of these horrors. So yes, I mean, obviously when I was sitting there and I was obviously like over there like fumbling over my words, it's sent back from the atmosphere. Well, they were like in the atmosphere, obviously, but I think they were on the ground. They were at like a military base, but now they're going to be put in a public place. And like, what would it say? What did it say? Like Buenos Aires, that it was going to be brought back to Buenos Aires, that the government was going to bring it back. Oh yeah, it was going to bring it back to the capital. So the capital of Argentina is Buenos Aires. So they're going to put it there and serve it as a reminder, like, this is the, past history, and send those families closure. Like, this is a crime against humanity. And this is what the U.S. empire engages in. And as an American, it is what I feel is more than necessary to wake up my fellow Americans one at a time. And that's what my comrades and I do on this channel, including on my podcast, amongst other things, videos, global reports included. But this type of thing going on in Argentina that has happened from 1976 to 1983, it's deplorable. It's disgusting. This was a horrific time in history. This was a horrific time in U.S. history because it is a stain on the U.S.'s history. It is a permanent stain on the U.S.'s history. That what the U.S. did to Argentine civilians is downright damaging and deplorable. And this is what we are known, this is what not we as Americans, but this is what our fucking government is known for. We, the people, don't want this fucking nonsense. This is depraved. This is depraved on a whole nother level. This type of thing is just depraved on a whole nother level. To do this to to do this to Argentina, to do this to any country, and it's so bad that even NPR is talking about it, to do this to them it was all for U.S. hegemony. It was all for the U.S. to get into a country and to put in a right-wing dictatorship. That's what it was all about. A right-wing capitalist dictatorship that was kissing the ass of the CIA and the fucking U.S. empire, the CIA in general, the central imbecile asshole agency. That's what I call those motherfuckers. The CIA are fucking terrorists. The FBI is a bunch of fucking terrorists. And our government is a bunch of fucking terrorists. Our government is a fucking terrorist organization. The biggest terrorist entity on the face of the planet. That's what our government is. Because our politicians, whether they have a D or an R at the end of their name, they are the world's biggest terrorists. And it's for reasons like this. It's for reasons like this. It's for reasons like what they did in Guatemala in 1954, what they did to Cuba, what they did to Cuba from 1959 onward, what they've been doing with the disgusting, depraved, damaging, and deplorable U.S. embargo that has been on them for over 6 decades. That, along with the coup in Argentina, in 2002. 2002, Hugo Chavez coup. Documents show CIA knew of plot in Venezuela. They knew of this plot. Of course they did. They knew of this. This was 100% what they knew. And if you get a load of this, you want to get a little load of this that dates back to 2002 when the coup happened. What the world thinks in 2002. Let's scroll down to Argentina. In 2002, by 2002, if you look right here at the numbers right here, if you look at the numbers right here of the percentage of people with a favorable view of the U.S., you know what the number is? In 2002, 34%. Only 34% of Argentines had a favorable view of the U.S. and 49% were unfavorable. But then that number grew even worse, especially after the Iraq War. But why before the Iraq War was the U.S.'s image in Latin America, and especially in Argentina, so negative? I'll tell you why. The past history. But then you could think, but what about if you scroll back just a second? What about this? Half of Argentines had a favorable view of the U.S. in the year 2000. But what about that? Well, let's think about that for a second. In 2001, the U.S. was responsible for a massive amount of debt that was infiltrated on Argentina, causing their economy to go into a recession. And how did the Bush administration react to that? The Bush administration was just like, duh, I don't know, I'll tell you that we all stand with America, and we're with America. We have great values, and we're the greatest in the world. That's what we are. We are the greatest, and what we say goes. That's that's what it goes. That's the American way. Yeah. This guy.
Every nation in every region now has a decision to make. Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
Yeah, you shouldn't talk about yourself like that, bud. Because what you did to Argentina by shoveling all that debt onto them, that debt was back in the 90s, and the Bush administration was responsible for infiltrating that debt onto Argentina, all this debt that they couldn't pay back to the World Bank, resulting in a recession. So that probably caused was definitely at least part of the reason why the US's reputation in Argentina slipped from 50% favorable amongst the population to 34%. And if you look in 2002, just before Bush invaded Iraq, the US's image was already declining. And then you know what happened after that? It declined even further. It declined even further after that. And then by 2007, Argentina had the most negative view of the US outside of the Middle East. Because obviously the Middle East is going to hate us more than anybody. And who can blame them? And again, as I've always said, they don't hate us for our freedom. They don't give a shit about our freedom. They hate us because we are there in their land instead of fucking leaving those people alone. That's the reason. Just like people in Argentina, they don't care about our freedom. It's because we were there in their land, arming terrorists in their land, infiltrating debt onto their land. Because when it comes to innocent civilians, I don't play that kind of game. I don't play that kind of football. Argentina, at that time, yes, had the most negative view of the U.S. outside of any country outside of the Middle East in 2007. Scroll down here, and if you take a look at this, this is from Pew Research dating back to 2007. Views of America and American foreign policy. And also the coup in Argentina, there was a coup in Argentina, 1977, 1983. But if you especially look at what the U.S. has done to Argentina just in the last couple decades, especially the debt, the U.S.'s interference in Latin America, you're not going to sit there and tell me that the U.S. infiltrating that coup against President Hugo Chavez in 2002, you don't think that had an impact on the U.S.'s image in Argentina, causing it to fall from 50% in 2000 to just a third by 2002, and almost half of Argentines had a negative view of the U.S. at that point? Of course it did, because when people in Argentina saw the U.S. doing that in Venezuela, they thought, well, that's exactly what the U.S. is going to do. They're probably thinking, well, that's what the U.S. is going to do to us. It's obvious that the U.S. has been an irresponsible leader for a very long time. The U.S. is not a leader. We are not a leader. It's pathetic. What we have done to Argentina is appalling. It's disgusting. And it makes me sick. And if you wonder why our global reputation looks like this, 16%. Already the U.S.'s image in Argentina was negative in 2002, not just because of the past history, what the U.S. has done to Argentina, but also because of what the U.S. did to them in the early 2000s with the debt crisis. It's no different. It's not as bad as what France did to Haiti with the debt and all that, but that's a whole nother topic altogether. But it was very similar because the U.S. shoveled a bunch of debt and infiltrated it onto Argentina that they couldn't pay back, and it crashed their economy. The U.S. was definitely to blame for that. It's absolutely, it's abhorrent. 16% of Argentines viewed the U.S. favorably, 72% unfavorable 5 years after that, 4 years after the U.S. invaded Iraq. And I guarantee you that played a role in how the U.S. was viewed around the world. Well, yeah, the U.S.'s image around the world was horrible. The U.S.'s image around the world, we were fucking hated. We were despised around the world. And during the Bush era. Some say it got better in the Obama years, but that was only because Bush was so bad that our reputation couldn't go anything else but up. But people started to realize that Obama was dropping as many bombs as Bush and all that. I mean, obviously. I mean, yeah, the reputation was, better under Obama, but that was only because Bush was so bad that any other president could have brought our image up. It's the same thing with Trump. Trump also destroyed our reputation in the world. And then they say that, oh, it improved under Biden and whatnot. Well, yeah, it's the same thing. You think it's like the whole thing is a mind fuck. But but in all honesty, I know I've been kind of jumping all over the place, but this has to do with Argentina. And if you look at all of these things, imagine that this is what the US has done. That this is what the US has done. All of this. You think the media is going to talk about this. Now to NPR's credit, I am no fan of NPR by any stretch of the imagination. I am not crazy about them, just like I am not crazy about Al Jazeera. I'm not crazy about Al Jazeera. Absolutely not. But I'll tell you right now, fuck you, Bush. You got called out by the real leader in the room. You got called out by the real leader in the room. And of course, when you try to look up this speech, it gets fucking shadow banned up, of course. Well, there was nothing better than this. I'm just saying. There was nothing better than this. There was nothing guys, there was nothing better than this. The greatest speech against a warmongering piece of shit US president. Yes. This man was a hero to Latin America. And you want to know why? Do you know why he's a hero to anti-imperialists everywhere? And may he rest in peace in my socialist heart? Because he spoke out against US imperialism. And he fought for the poor. And he fought for oppressed people. That's the reason why. And the U.S. has tried to go after him, coups and everything. They did it to Argentina. They did it to Chavez. They did it to all of them. They did it to Evo Morales in Bolivia. They did it to Fidel Castro. They did it to Comrade Castro in the 60s, 70s, 80s. They did it to him. They're doing it to Cuba today. They did it under Raul Castro. They did it to Ecuador under Rafael Correa. They did it to they're doing it currently to Nicaragua under Daniel Ortega. Well, I would argue that no Latin American country has been interfered with more than Nicaragua. But yes, this was amazing.
People who should read this book are our brothers and sisters in the United States, because their threat is in their own house. The devil is right at home. The devil himself is right in the house. And the devil came here yesterday. Yesterday, the devil came here. Right here. Right here. And it smells of sulfur still today. This table that I am now standing in front of. Yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, from this rostrum, the President of the United States, the gentleman to whom I refer as the devil, came here talking as if he owned the world. Truly, as the owner of the world.
Exactly. Talking as if he owned the world. Because he is. And he did. He thought he owned the world. Every American president post-World War II, they think they own Argentina. They think they own Venezuela. They think that they own Cuba. They think they own Chile. They think that they own everything. They think that they own, they probably think that they own Rio Gallegos, Argentina. They probably think that, oh, we can own one of the southernmost cities in the world. Yeah, we'll own them. Yeah, we'll sit there, we'll own them. We'll sit there and let's own Ushuaia, Argentina. Yeah, let's go own some of the southernmost cities in the world. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, sure. Like, yeah, let's Porto Williams, Chile. Oh yeah, no, totally. Oh, we gotta gain access to Antarctica and have a conflict around Antarctica. We got Porto Williams, Ushuaia, Rio Gallegos. Up, but the only thing that's stopping us in Rio Gallegos is the wind. The only thing that's stopping us there is the wind. The climate is dry, windy, and cold. It is one of the windiest cities on Earth. Yeah, because they're blowing smoke out of their ass. Clearly. You know what we need to tell? You know what we need to tell these American presidents? You know what we need to tell these American presidents? What Judge Judy told Heather during the stabbing case. That you've got a miserable attitude, that you all have a bunch of fucking miserable attitudes. This was a case from 2007. My favorite case. You all remember this. I mean, you all remember this. I mean, you all remember this one. From my recording of this and responding to it a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I'm telling you, big time. You've got a miserable attitude. I can tell that from 20 feet away. I didn't even have to live with you as long as your sister did. No. Well, I'm telling you, big time. You've got a miserable attitude. I can tell that from 20 feet away. I didn't even have to live with you as long as your sister did. You think that people are going to be attracted to you because you're tough? No, ma'am. They won't. They'll think you're an idiot.
Exactly. Well, obviously, Judge Judy nailed it, and she knocked it out of the park 100 fucking percent. Because Judge Judy is awesome. She's the greatest judge in the world, and if she ran for president, if she ran for the Supreme Court, oh man, she ran in any kind of office, I would vote for her in a heartbeat. There is hardly anybody in the world that has more common sense than Judge Judy, than the great Judge Judith Sheindlin. Love her. I've been a fan of her for my entire life. But we need more common sense like her. We don't have common sense in this world. The point of that is me showing that to you guys, and from my favorite case in the world from Judge Judy, because that was a horrible crime, and she was judging that case and saying how this girl that was involved in the stabbing had a miserable attitude, and that, I mean, it was just an amazing case all around, and she just knocked it out of the park, because she needs to tell these, because that's the example of what we say to these American presidents, that you have a miserable attitude, that you're killing people, that we could tell that from 20 feet away, and then we could sit there and we can have our heads bobbing around, like we could say, it's like, I didn't even have to live with you as long as your sister did. It's like, we could just totally do that. But no, dude, it's fucking ridiculous. Our foreign policy is a joke. Oh yeah, we need to stop fucking supporting Israel as well. I support BDS and I don't give a fuck. I support BDS against fucking Israel. I support boycott, divestment, and sanctions. Free Palestine, fuck Israel. Stop the abuses. And stop U.S. imperialism altogether. End the war machine. Because the U.S. is a permanent war economy. The U.S. is a permanent war economy. That's what our government is. It is a permanent war economy. It is a war machine. Our government is a war machine that is used to propagandize Americans one after the other, to brainwash generation upon generation of people to think that we live in this great nation that does such great around the world. No, we don't. It's time for people, more and more people, to step up and speak out and to stand up against this bullshit. And I may love my country, but I fucking goddamn hate the people that run it. Probably 99.5% of them. D and R at the end of their name. Fuck every single one of them. They're scum. They're scum, and what they did to Argentina was disgusting and appalling, and I hope that this will bring the people of Argentina some closure, because the people of Argentina have my support. All of the people of Latin America have my support. All of the people that in the Middle East have my support. People around the globe that deal with U.S. hegemony. And one final thing I will say before I wrap up this global segment here. Just remember, every time we want to blame Russia and China for for being like terrorists and everything else, yeah, well, just remember something. See this? See this right here? See this right here? See this? From Jacobin. See this right here? The U.S. has 800 military installations in dozens of countries around the world. This literally spans the fucking globe. This right here spans the fucking globe. But just remember, guys, it's Russia and China that are the imperialists, right? How many bases? Like, let's think it. How many bases does China have? China has only one overseas military base in Djibouti in the Horn of Africa. How many does Russia have? 21. China has one. Russia has 21. And the U.S. has 800. Who's the imperialist here? I'll tell you. The U.S. of A. That's the one. The world's biggest terrorist organization, that is the U.S. government. Yeah, I'll say it, and I will say it until I'm blue in the face. The U.S. war machine, and that's what it is, a fucking war machine, a mass murdering, fucking depraved, disgusting, mass murdering fucking war machine. That's what it is. And we as Americans, we live in a fucking corporate state, a failed state, a capitalistic, grotesque, overbloated oligarchy that doesn't give a shit about us as Americans, doesn't give a shit about us as people, and all they care about are their own pockets and their own hegemony. And so long as we have the two-party system, this will keep going. We will continue to have garbage like this. End the two-party system, build on third parties, bring down the two-party system, down with the U.S. empire for the sake of us as Americans and for the sake of people around the globe, and to free them of this oppression and to free us as Americans as oppression, from this oppression rather, so that we can bring an end to this. And I say, down with the U.S. empire and a formation of an entirely new government with third parties and a neutral foreign policy and a policy built on cooperation and neutrality rather than who's on Team USA and who's not, and who isn't gets threats of war, deals with war, invasion, boycott, sanctions, blah, blah, fucking blah. That's the world that we're living in. And my fellow Americans, we need to keep calling this out. And this is what this channel's about. And that is what we need to continue to do. And I will be anti-war, anti-imperialist, leftist, anti-capitalist, socialist, you name it. You don't even have to be you don't even have to have radical left-wing views like I do. You just be a centrist. Most of my fans on here are centrists. You just have to be against the wars, be against be against the establishment, be against the war machine. And if you're against the war machine and you fight against the war machine like I do and my comrades on this channel do, then I consider you an ally. Whether you're on the left or on the right, let's all come together and bring an end to this two-party system and an end to this bullshit. Fuck the U.S. government. Fuck the terrorist state of Israel. Fuck the neo-Nazis in Ukraine. Fuck the U.S.'s puppet regimes. Fuck capitalism and fuck imperialism. That's my message. And let's all come together so we can get it done. Well, that's about it for now. Thank you all for listening. Hope you all enjoyed the segment. Hope you all learned something from it. Stay tuned for my live stream tomorrow at 7 p.m. Look out for it. More stuff on the way. This is Zach the Celtics Guy saying thank you for watching. And as always, I will be anti-war and anti-imperialist, left-wing, you name it, until I'm blue in the face. And I will never stop calling this out. I don't care if the FBI comes after me and the CIA comes after me with fucking handcuffs, pointing 5 guns at me. I still will not be quiet, because I will never back down against this bullshit. And we will always be here to speak out. The Z Podcast, the Z Crew here is not going anywhere. Until next time, my fellow comrades and my listeners in the U.S. and abroad, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, including tomorrow at 7 p.m. Look out for it. There's a lot to talk about. See you all then. Until then, and until next time, until the next video, stay safe, stay well, stay classy, and as always, keep fighting and keep on rocking. Till next time, peace out, good night, and so long.